Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. So the ship in front of me today is another part of the drone fleet. Now you may have seen this guy sitting on them stilts, and it's been sitting on them stilts for quite some time. Of course, it is Dora the Explorer, or just Dora. This is basically Ryan and BB's ship from our survival, and they had the very difficult choice of building a ship that is going to get us off the planet. And due to the last recording where we had some issues with lag, we managed to finish this ship, or almost finished it. We've got a few engine bits to do, but you guys didn't actually get to see it, so I thought I would show you in this creative world, show you some of its features, and just give you a really nice look around it. Now first of all, we'll start at the front of the ship and then we'll work our way inside. So the top deck is a battleship. This thing is deadly. Now if this is aimed at you, you're going to be extremely worried. This is three 900mm, 3 barrels on each. Absolutely devastating. Now tucked in between there we have this very interesting array of weapons as well. We have the Vulcan cannons as well as the 20mm that works in a great combination. Vulcans and 20mm tear ships apart, as well as these single 300mm on the side. Now coming towards the front of the ship, we have ourselves the 2 Gatling guns located there, as well as this variety of firepower. And you'll notice throughout this design there is these decoy blocks in certain areas, drawing the fire away from critical systems and towards locations that will just distract the fire and stop it from taking out the systems themselves. So we've got the large 900mm on either side, as well as this little deadly array. So we've got 2 300mm on the top and bottom, and another 2 on either side, and that's going to be extremely worrying. Below there we also have a little viewing window, as well as another viewing deck into this section that I'll show you when we go inside, and then it wraps around into this first thruster compartment. Now on top of this thruster compartment we have another array of Vulcans. Now these things are arranged in such a way just to deter fighters, destroy things extremely quickly, and they will shred through anyone's ship who tries to approach it. Now I do think this ship has quite a weakness, but it's kind of covered, and we've got ourselves along the bottom. You'll notice there is only 20mm actually defending this section. We don't have any 900mm or even 300mm on the bottom of this craft, and you notice we've got the mixture of both hydrogen and atmospheric thrusters to allow that journey into space to happen a little bit easier. But let's have a look at this little ribbon design that's been built into this section, as well as using them little catwalk plates to add some detailing in there as well. Now as we come into the rear sort of section of thrust, we have the atmospheric thrusters on either side, as well as an atmospheric thruster that is tucked into that section to help it propel it forward, and then we have the both atmospheric and hydrogen thruster combination, so we can both stop this ship very quickly and move it when necessary. Now this section has definitely taken some inspiration from modern battleship designs. You can just see this sort of slope, as well as this curved area, as well as this really large helipad on the back. I still need some words, I think, with Ryan about maybe expanding this to 2 or 3 slots for smaller fighters, because I don't think we're going to have anything that large landing on it. But you can see the thrusters are protected around there, and as we get to the back we're getting a little bit weaker on the defensive package, even though we've got all them 300mm there on the top. Down the side we've got quite limited firepower towards the rear, and this could be something that offers a little bit of a weakness, but we don't know yet. There's still a lot of designing that's going to go into this ship, and things will change. Underneath, of course, at the rear thrust pack we have ourselves 2 Vulcans there as well, but I'll definitely be chatting to Ryan about increasing the firepower of this rear section, or maybe just balancing it out ever so much. So we've got another 900mm on the rear deck there. I think actually that might be a 300mm. Yeah, that's only a 300mm. But let's actually have a step inside and we'll have a quick look at it. So now we've had a look around the exterior, the key part here is have a look around the interior and be quite detailed. Now for some of you guys who are working for the RWI faction, Jack's faction, you'll be wanting to know all about this, the entire layout, and I'm not too fussed. You're going to get to see it anyway. So you can see that these little access tunnels to these various command and control rooms. So you can see we've got the Executive Officer Commander BB, Command Center Bridge, and then we've got the Officer of Watch, Captain Ryan James. So you can see we've got these these sort of blast doors surrounded in this section. Very cool indeed. And as you can see, as we walk into this area, we have the Aaron's greenhouse, no unauthorized drones. So inside here we have this really nice little area for Aaron to sit around and get shot at, that I think I'll definitely not be doing. But it's not a control seat, this is just another one of the viewing areas. Obviously you could have someone observing and you've got a good field of view from the ship from that angle as well. So as we exit back through the airlock, we enter into the command room. Loads of seats here, so this is going to be great for commanding this vessel. And then we're going to drop back down into this section. So walking down this main sort of corridor, we've got some nice lighting as well as a gyroscopic room. So everything here we can access, maintain, and see what's damaged as we're going through. We've actually got large Vulcan turrets on the inside, and that is going to be a super nasty surprise for anyone who tries to get in through that back door. And then as we drop down here, we've got another blast door. You can see how this ship has been segmented up. And the idea behind that is if a certain area is breached or damaged, we can seal it off. So you can see we can seal all the windows off. We can seal a lot of these segments off and just protect the ship and allow it to fight a little bit longer. So in this section, we've got another observation area, and that's dropping down to another one of these large Vulcan turrets. We've not really skimped on the turret usage here. We've gone for large Vulcans inside. That might be a bit detrimental to our own ship, but, you know, I think it's going to definitely kill people very quickly. So as we pop into this section, we have another long gyroscopic room, as well as just this nasty Vulcan turret sitting there. So you think you've managed to breach inside the ship? You failed. So as we drop down into this deck, you can see as the labyrinth of repair sectors starts to get very, very interesting, and the amount of Vulcan turrets on the inside of this thing is very scary indeed. We've got another control seat, another control room here, and we can drop down there once again into one of the maintenance corridors that is once again filled with Vulcan turrets. Now as this thing breaks apart, I can only imagine that then Vulcan turrets are going to start firing as well. It's going to be opening up the belly of the beast just to find more weapons and ammunition. So you can see we've got the thrusters that have been arranged in this section. We'll continue dropping down, and we actually drop out at the bottom. Now what's quite cool about these drop out the bottom access, it means that if the ship is damaged or we are coming to an area where we need to stealthily exit the ship, we can exit from underneath and not really give our position away. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly cut through the design, and we'll have a look at some of the key areas, or just have a kind of a cheat through the wall. So you can see we've got the reactors lined up either side, and they are protected very, very well. So there's a backup of a backup reactor for this particular ship, and you can see that is a repeat on the other side as well. And if we just continue tucking through here, we can kind of have a little bit of a spoiler and dip down into this section. You can see where there's another corridor, that's where them refineries are hooked up to, and we dip even further down into this labyrinth that takes me back to that position, and then this really cool lower thrust room. What's great about this thrust room is these thrusters will get damaged, it's inevitable in a firefight, but since we've got so many resources aboard the ship, we can have someone run down here and repair these to keep us back in the air. Of course, I'm in debate of attaching some welds to the ceiling here so we can keep these thrusters online no matter the cost to keep us in the air. Well, there you go. It's quite an intricate ship. Lots of things going on. The things that I'm in debate about, and I might have a chat to Ryan about, the Vulcans inside. I've got a feeling they might cause more damage than they're actually worth to us. So as we come up into this section, you can see we've got the command and control center. I'm trying to show you bits, but at the same time not give too much away. That's a little bit hard, and it can be a little bit disorientating. Of course, we have the cargo management unit in here, as well as more gyroscopes, so we can hold all the cargo for the ammunition and various weapons. Let's just tuck ourselves into this section as well. So you can see the blast doors that will close off the whole of this bridge. So the command and control center will be ready for any sort of attack, or as they've named it, the battle bridge. Very nice indeed. Double blast door sealed. Very cool indeed. This ship has took them a long time, and without that V-welder, I don't know what sort of situation they'd be in with it. Anyway, let's attempt to get in one of these control seats and see what we can do. So let's pick that one. We can actually close all the blast doors. So for instance, we might be going into battle. He's going to offer that extra protection to us, sealing it all up really nicely. No one's going to be getting inside. There we go. Battle bridge is secured, and we can begin thrusting. So what's great about this ship is it has a lot of maneuverability, and when we are ready to blast off into space, you can see that rear thrust pack is just going to absolutely launch us into the sky. And we've got the maneuverability of Pavel's smaller ships. That was a real big request of mine for any sort of ship. So there we go. We can head up into the clouds using this, or we can easily just switch to the atmospheric engines and get as high as we possibly can with the atmospheric, and then switch to them when we get to higher altitude as well. So it's going to be a ship that's going to be great in most situations. So let's just bring it in a little bit of an attack. Now, what I really want to start doing with these videos as well is introducing, I'm going to attack different ships and just see what happens. So we've got the helicarrier over there. That shouldn't be really too much of a threat. It is set to an enemy. So let's see if our turrets start engaging. So you can already see that our large battery at the front has started engaging the carrier. And if we dip a little bit lower, we'll see the bigger turrets starting to lock on. So of course we need to come from a lower angle to cause the most damage possible. Their turrets are engaging. We need to pull up a little bit here or we're going to collide with the ground. Of course, as soon as the lag happens, you see we start to drop out the sky and we've lost all control of the hydrogen thrusters. Because hydrogen fuel is, of course, in short supply. So this is something that we need to test ever so further as well. If the hydrogen is going to lose itself that quickly, then we need to test that out. Of course, the helicarrier is dropping itself apart, but there we go. Hydrogen systems are back online temporarily. Well, that is not good at all. I do not like the idea of that happening to us in the middle of a fight. Some more problems we're going to have to work at the kinks on, definitely. But a little bit more of a blast. See if we can continue taking that off. Look at that. Blowing holes in that with that 900mm. Whew. Love it. Right, we need to have a focus then on them hydrogen thrusters and see why they're cutting out. Maybe provide them with a little bit more fuel. Let's give that a little bit of a blast further forward if we can get away from some of this lag. There we go. Very nice indeed. Typical Aaron crashes the ship. All them turrets have been blasted off the front, but the 900mm, since we've got them decoy blocks, are still in much of a firing position. Do a little bit of a broadside here as we go past. Very nice indeed. Of course, them 900mm have a limited arc, so we can't, for instance, if we drive past, the 900mm won't be able to swing all the way around to the rear because they've only got that 180 arc. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. That was a quick look at Dora the Explorer. There's still a few things that I think need to be worked out. We might have to work that out in flight, but to get us into the atmosphere, it's going to be a very nice little ship. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.